Okay, just to get this out of the way, I really enjoy the Oscars. I know a lot of people don't enjoy them, but I've always found them very interesting because they are the most prestigious movie award in the world, basically. So I've always enjoyed watching the Oscars, and I keep track of everything and the nominations and all that. And I honestly think that this has been probably the best year, or 2019 has been the best year for movies in the last decade. And for the most part, I agree with a majority of the nominations. I actually like most of the people they nominated and everything. But there are some significant problems, once again, with diversity within the Oscars. So, today, I'm going to be fixing the Oscar nominations to be more inclusive and to be more accurate as to what people would actually want from the Oscars. Now, I haven't seen every movie that's been nominated. That's nearly impossible to do at the Oscars, especially with the shorts and the documentaries and everything. It's not really an easy way to watch all of those movies. But some of the biggest ones I want to watch are The Lighthouse, Pain and Glory, and Portrait of a Lady on Fire, even though that's not nominated for anything. Those are some of the biggest movies I still want to watch. I'm going to start off with some of the smaller categories and do what I think the nominations switch out should be, which none of these are very drastic. There's only one or two in each category that I think should be changed. I'm not doing every category because I don't have a problem with every category. I'm doing what I think should be changed. So for production design, I would switch out Jojo Rabbit for Midsummer because I really liked the set of Midsummer. I thought it was really interesting, and I think that movie should get some kind of recognition. For film editing, I'm going to switch out Jojo Rabbit for 1917. Even though 1917 is presented to be in one shot, it is still a very impressive movie in the way that it's edited together, and I think it deserves that recognition. For costume design, I'm going to switch out Joker for Knives Out because Joker has one cool costume. Knives Out has an entire cast of interesting outfits, so I think that that deserves it more. For foreign film, I'm going to switch out Les Miserables for Portrait of a Lady on Fire because for some reason France chose Les Miserables, and Portrait of a Lady on Fire has been one of the highest reviewed movies of the year and one of the best reviewed movies of the decade. So I don't know why they wouldn't choose to put that in there and and put a movie that nobody's been talking about in instead. So that's my choice for that. And then we start getting into some of the bigger categories. For adapted screenplay, I would want to switch out Joker for The Farewell because I think The Farewell deserved a lot more recognition. It didn't get any Oscar nominations, and I think it's a very well written movie, and Joker's weakest point is probably its actual script. For original screenplay, I want to switch out 1917 for Booksmart, which I think 1917 is a very interesting story, and I think that it is a very entertaining movie, but it could also keep pretty much all of its nominations and not get credit for original screenplay because its screenplay is probably the least interesting aspect of the movie. The story is interesting and everything, but I think Booksmart should have sneaked in there for original screenplay. Now here's the biggest the biggest categories. For supporting actress, we are switching out Scarlett Johansson and Kathy Bates for Yo Jong-jo from Parasite, the rich mother from Parasite, and Chu Zhen-sao from The Farewell, who played the grandma, because they deserve that recognition. For supporting actor, we are switching out Tom Hanks and Anthony Hopkins for Kang Ho Song from Parasite, of course, and Willem Dafoe for The Lighthouse. Now for Best Actress, we are switching out Charlize Theron and Cynthia Erivo, because while I do like that Cynthia got a nomination, I also am very disappointed that it's for playing Harriet Tubman in a very Lifetime looking movie that makes old people feel good for thinking slavery is bad. And we're switching out those two for Awkwafina from The Farewell and Lupita Nyong'o from Us, because she gave one of the best performances of the year and got no recognition across the board for it. And then for Best Actor, we are switching out Jonathan Pryce, which I feel bad because it is his first Oscar nomination, but I think other people deserve it more than he does, and Leonardo DiCaprio, which people might be mad about that, but out of the other nominations, he'd be the only other one to go, because I'm not taking away Antonio Banderas' first Oscar nomination for Pain and Glory, because he is long overdue for his recognition. And Adam Driver and Joaquin Phoenix, I think, gave some of the best performances of the year, so they deserve to be in there. But I'm switching out Jonathan Pryce and Leonardo DiCaprio for Taron Egerton from Rocketman, because he won the Golden Globe and he deserves to get the Oscar nomination, and Adam Sandler from Uncut Gems. So it is switching out two white guys for white guys, but I think that that Taron and Adam deserve the recognition more because they did some very different performances. And then one of the biggest ones, which is going to be probably the most obvious, Best Director, we're switching out Todd Phillips, who was just trying to make a Scorsese Schrader movie and did kind of a weak copy of it, for Greta Gerwig for Little Women, because she was able to adapt that book and make it the most interesting version of it in a movie, and did an amazing job in showing her range. And the fact that her first two movies have both been nominated for Best Picture is very impressive, and she deserves the recognition for director. But I'm going to be switching out Joker, which I think is a good movie, but it doesn't deserve its Best Picture nomination, and Ford vs. Ferrari, which is only nominated for sound editing, film editing, and sound mixing, I believe, and then Best Picture, which it doesn't really give it much of a leg to stand on when it comes to that. I think that those are probably the two weakest when it comes to the Best Picture nominations, and they should be switched out for. So I'm switching out Joker and Ford vs. Ferrari for Knives Out and The Farewell, which I think were better movies. They had a more important message in them, if they had a message, and were more entertaining all around. So those are the better choices. And since they never fill the 10th spot for Best Picture anymore, which I never get, why would you make it 10 nomination slot and only give it 8 or 9 every year? I think I would, even though I haven't seen it, it would be an awesome addition to have in there, because like I said, I gave Dafoe the nomination, and it already has a nomination for cinematography, so it wouldn't have a whole lot of nominations, but it'd be awesome to throw it in there because of the hype around it, is The Lighthouse, because horror movies do not get very much recognition when it comes to the Oscars. So I think it'd be a very cool addition to put in there for once. And that's why I also gave Us and Midsommar nominations, because Lupita deserves that nomination. Midsommar, I think, had a really cool production design. But my biggest problem with the nominations this year is that they once again snubbed East Asian actors for any nominations. And that's why I had 2 people from The Farewell and 2 people from Parasite in for those nominations, because I think that they deserve their nominations. Like I said in my reviews for the movies, I think Awkwafina, Xiao Zhu Sen, and Kang Ho Song gave some of the best performances of the year that I've seen. So they deserve those nominations, but I mean, if you look at the history of actors being nominated of Asian actors being nominated for Oscars, and that's inclusive to all of Asia. So that's including India and Israel and all of Asia. That's not just East Asian actors. You only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 in over 90 years of Oscars, in which you have basically 20 actors nominated every year. You can do that math for me. You've only had 9 Asian actors nominated for their given category, which I think is ridiculous. So that's the reason. That's one of the main reasons I think that I've done this list or this video, is because of the underrepresentation of East Asian actors once again in this movie. I also think that it's ridiculous that Todd Phillips got in for director over Greta Gerwig. But some other snubs that I would have liked to included, but I don't think really deserved it. And there's a lot of people pointing out Eddie Murphy for Dolomite Is My Name. I think he's great in the movie, but as far as the choices for lead actor, I don't think he would fit in there for me personally. And Jennifer Lopez for Hustlers, which in my review I said that is probably her best performance, but it's not. She hasn't set a very high bar for that, so just because it's her best performance doesn't mean it's an Oscar-worthy performance, even though I do think she's really good in the movie. And then it would have been cool to see Ana de Armas thrown in for like supporting actress or something. But whatever. So those are my fixed nominations. I think that it's a lot more inclusive, as it should be, instead of nominating 17 white actors and then 1 Hispanic and 1 black actor for their acting nominations, and then nominating Scarlett Johansson twice, which I think she's had a great year. But if I had to choose a performance, it would be Marriage Story. That's why I kept her nomination for that. I don't think she needs the Jojo Rabbit nomination. But what did you guys think of my changes? Did you like them? Did you not like them? If you're a Joker fan, you probably didn't like them, to be honest. But what movies did you want nominated at the Oscars this year that didn't get any recognition? Let me know, and I'll be back with another video.